Sometimes, like when I claim to hear the voice of God, people call you crazy. Other times, they let you found a religion. But what does divine schizophrenia have to do with the 100 Years' War? So we're going to fast forward in the conflict a little bit. Everyone took a pause as they were reeling from the 100 Years' War. And instead, France, and the rest of Europe, but for our purposes, mostly France, is dealing with a shit ton of peasant uprisings. Like it is becoming a problem for them. There's a bunch of rebellions up in Flanders, and really just popping up all over the place. Like a game of angry peasant whack-a-mole. And now here come the English once again, and they are sieging the town of Orléans. America has a new one, but this one's the OG. Anyway, we don't build cities for no reason, and in this instance the city controls a major cross-section of the Loire River. If the English get this, they can pretty much choke off the rest of the French territory. And did I mention things are not going great in France? On top of constant peasant revolts. God, the poor can be so insufferable, what with their constant need to eat. We're also still dealing with armed bands of brigands roaming the countryside. On top of everything, France is facing a bit of a succession crisis. You see, this guy, Charles VI, is king. And this guy's absolute batshit crazy. Now, there's nothing wrong with mental illness, unless you're the potential ruler of would-be countries. Then it might be a little problematic. Luckily today, nobody's dealing with those issues. But this guy was out there. During one episode, he was riding through the woods and had an attack of paranoia. He pulls his sword out and starts hacking at the dudes who are there to protect him. He gets 4 of them before he can be subdued. Because it's kind of like, what do you do when the king's swinging a sword at you? Do you defend yourself against the king? That doesn't seem right. Also, he thought he was made of glass and would break if jostled too hard. So yeah, hereditary succession has its downsides. And when you think you're made of glass, you're probably not handling the day-to-day affairs of state, which is invariably going to lead to infighting as to who does. And so a mini civil war is brewing in the background. On top of that, the French just got waxed at the Battle of Agincourt. This battle has so much lore around it, it really is hard to discern truth from fiction. But my bullshit meter is reading pretty high on most of it. I've heard that this is where the gesture of using the middle finger comes from, as the French were showing off which finger they would cut off the English archers if they captured them, since you need your middle finger to pull back a bowstring. That one's been pretty debunked, I think, but it's a great way to remember the battle. I've also heard that this is where the British peace sign comes from. After the battle, the English archers showing the French that they had their 2 fingers intact, and were still able, in fact, to shoot their bows. That one I think has a little more credence. I've also heard that this battle was symbolically the end of the medieval knight. With a weapon as prolific as the longbow with a projectile that could pierce armor, walking around in a suit of it all of a sudden doesn't seem like a very good idea. What was protection now becomes a death trap. Now there's of course debate on that, because history's never like a light switch. Things don't turn on and off all of a sudden. But it's a fun one. I've also heard that the French archers pretty much had to fight pantsless, as a bout of dysentery was running through the ranks and everybody was shitting themselves. Which I haven't found independent sources to confirm, but it also doesn't boggle the mind. It also goes to show how fucking horrible war really is. I'm literally shitting myself to death due to a bacterial infection in my intestines, and I still have to go out and fight? And it's not like shooting a longbow was easy. These guys had fucked up skeletons for a reason. And they still claim the day. Good for them. But not great for old King Thinks on Glass. In order to save the country from complete invasion, he solves the succession crisis by disinheriting his son, who would be King Charles VII, by disinheriting his son and naming Henry V the would-be successor of France. He's famous for being in that Shakespeare play. Can't remember the name at the moment, but he gives the St. Crispin's Day speech, and those not with us here today will hold their manhoods cheap. And while Henry might not be holding his manhood cheap, Charles is pissed. And on top of everything, the English are continuing to invade. If only there was someone to lead us through these dark times. Someone who didn't think they were made of glass, but instead heard voices. And those voices would lead them to greatness, and maybe even secure the throne for a king. Who could I be talking about? Find out next time.